Night had fallen. The forest was alive with sounds. I walked deeper, each step crunching on fallen leaves. A shiver ran down my spine, the air grew colder. The moonlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy, shadows danced around me. I felt a presence, something watching me. Fear tightened its grip. I pushed on, drawn deeper into the woods. The path seemed to disappear. I was lost. A low growl echoed around me, sending shivers down my spine. A cold mist began to rise from the ground, swirling around my feet and creeping up my legs like a living entity. The air grew colder with each passing second, and I could see my breath forming small clouds in front of me. Icy fingers brushed against my skin, sending shivers down my spine. It felt as though the very essence of winter had reached out to touch me, leaving a trail of frost in its wake. A figure flickered in the darkness, barely visible through the thickening mist. It was as if the shadows themselves had come to life, dancing and shifting in the eerie light. It was a woman, her white dress flowing in the non-existent wind. Her hair, long and dark, cascaded over her shoulders, moving as if it had a life of its own. Her sorrowful eyes met mine, and in that moment I felt a deep, inexplicable sadness. It was as if her very soul was crying out to me, begging for understanding and compassion. I wanted to speak, but no words came out. My throat felt tight, and my mind was a whirlwind of fear and confusion. I could only stare, helpless and mute. She reached out, her touch sending a wave of icy cold through my body. It was a sensation unlike any other, a chilling reminder of the boundary between the living and the dead. She whispered, her voice a mournful sigh that seemed to echo through the trees. It was a sound filled with sorrow and regret, a haunting melody that lingered in the air. "Beware," she said, her voice barely more than a breath. "This forest harbors ancient evils." Her words sent a chill down my spine, and I could feel the weight of her warning pressing down on me. "Turn back now while you still can," she urged, her eyes pleading with me to heed her advice. There was a desperation in her voice that made my heart race. Then, as quickly as she appeared, she vanished into the mist. One moment she was there, and the next, she was gone, leaving me alone in the eerie silence of the forest. The growl echoed once more, closer this time. It was a deep, menacing sound that seemed to vibrate through the very ground beneath my feet. I was frozen in place, fear gripping my heart. My mind raced with thoughts of what could be lurking in the shadows, and I knew I had to make a choice, stay and face the unknown, or run and never look back. A pair of eyes, glowing red in the darkness, locked onto mine. They seemed to pierce through the night, holding me in a trance. I could feel the weight of their gaze, cold and unyielding. The growl turned into a low hiss, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. It was a warning, a signal of the danger lurking just beyond my sight. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my chest. Fear gripped me, making it hard to breathe. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt like lead. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall and gaunt. Its movements were fluid, almost graceful, yet there was an eerie stillness to it. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, reflecting the moonlight in an otherworldly glow. It was as if the creature was made of the very essence of the night. The moonlight glinted off sharp fangs. A vampire. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. This was no ordinary predator. It spoke, its voice a seductive purr, dripping with false kindness. "Lost, little one?" it asked, taking a step closer. The words were like honey, sweet but dangerous. "Lost, little one?" it asked, taking a step closer. Its eyes never left mine, drawing me in deeper. "Let me help you find your way." The offer was tempting, but I knew better. This was a creature of the night, a master of deception. I knew its offer was a trap. The vampire's beauty was a mask, hiding its true nature. I had to resist, had to find a way out. Vampires were creatures of darkness, their beauty a mask for their true nature. I had to escape. My survival depended on it. With a surge of adrenaline, I turned and ran, the vampire's laughter echoing behind me. Before the vampire could move, a deafening roar shook the ground. The trees swayed violently, the vampire hissed, its eyes flickering towards the source of the sound. A hulking figure crashed through the undergrowth. It was massive, its scales shimmering in the moonlight, its eyes glowing green fixed on the vampire. A monster. The vampire snarled, baring its fangs. The monster roared in response. They circled each other, predator facing predator. I was caught in the middle of a battle between nightmares. Fear threatened to consume me. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The vampire lunged, its fangs bared. The monster swiped with its claws, leaving deep gouges in the vampire's chest. The vampire shrieked, its form flickering. The monster pressed its advantage, driving the vampire back. The vampire, weakened, looked at me with pleading eyes. I knew what it wanted. It hissed, its voice strained. "Help me," it begged, "and I will grant you power beyond your wildest dreams." The monster paused, its glowing eyes flickering between the vampire and me. It seemed to hesitate, as if waiting for my decision. My mind raced, thoughts colliding in a chaotic frenzy. I could help the vampire gain unimaginable power, but at what cost? The allure of such power was intoxicating, yet the price seemed too steep. And what would happen when the monster discovered my betrayal? The consequences could be dire, perhaps even fatal. I looked from the vampire to the monster, my heart pounding in my chest. The weight of the decision was almost unbearable, each option fraught with peril. Fear, adrenaline, and a strange sense of exhilaration coursed through me. Then, I woke up, gasping for breath. I was lying in my bed, sweat soaking through my sheets. My heart was still hammering, the remnants of the dream clinging to my consciousness. The forest, the ghost, the vampire, the monster, it had all been a dream. A terrifyingly vivid dream. Or was it? The line between reality and nightmare seemed to blur. As I lay there, heart still racing, I noticed something strange. A sense of unease settled over me, as if the dream had left a lingering presence. My reflection in the window. My eyes. They were different. Not just from the dream, but from anything I had ever seen. They were glowing with a faint red light. A light that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, hinting that perhaps the dream was more than just a figment of my imagination.